and I'm going to shift over to exfiltration. Now, typically when we talk about exfiltration, very much you can scope one policy that could be set quite broadly, and it may look at every single thing that is going to unauthorized recipients. Where we suggest and where we see the most success is actually layering that protection. So I've got 3 separate policies here. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through every single one in detail, but there are some commonalities that I do just want to call out. So for example, I'm going to start with this middle policy because it has the most to share. And from there, I'll share exactly where they might differentiate. So again, a very similar approach where we'll scope that to everyone. The difference here being, for example, if you have a leavers group, we may want to scope the group specifically. Often find that leavers are notorious for exfiltrating data. Perhaps these are things that we do want to keep a closer eye on. So that's where we could look at having a second policy in place that is scoped specifically to that group of individuals. When it comes to the conditions, typically we'll start with the exfiltration condition. So that works really well when we want to cast the net really wide and we want to look at everything that is going to what we deem to be unauthorized recipients. Now, where we perhaps want to maybe find a good balance is, like I said in my original point, of sending home payslips and sending home CVs. As an organization, you may not be as concerned with those kind of events. Now, we typically don't want to bombard the end user with a bunch of different warnings. We really want to hone in on those ones that do require the warning and do just require them to think, is this something I really should be sending? Probably not. So that's that first policy that I mentioned. Typically, this is a policy that could be set to silently track. So that means we cast our net wide, we collect all of that information for visibility, but we don't necessarily do anything from an end user perspective. So yourselves as portal admins, you get all of that good data. And again, that helps to really feed into that machine learning component. Where we maybe want to set ourselves slightly to the side for this second and third policy are these additional conditions here. So this is typically focusing on sensitive data. So when we talk about exfiltrating data, typically that is going to contain sensitive information that we definitely don't want leaving the organization. Now, there's a couple of ways that we can do that. So we find that pairing it with one, the exfiltration condition, but then looking at how many attachments have been included, what type of attachments, does it contain sensitive information? It just really allows us to refine and hone in on those events, like I say, that we do definitely want to be warning on and preventing them from being sent. So these are all of the different conditions, and you'll notice that we've paired it with the or condition here. So it can be any one of these paired with that exfiltration machine learning condition. Where we can maybe go one step further here is the action types that we have available to us. So like I said, that first policy we can keep in silently track. This second and third policy that we have, we'll probably try and find the fine line between warning. We might even want to go to the block phase. Again, it's going to depend on the organization, and that's where we can really start tailoring.